Some users look for a case that is completely noiseless in use, others look for a superior interior ventilation performance, while some look for an attractive RGB design. Today, we will be showing you a case from the latter category, the ultra beautiful RGB NZXT H510 Elite case. Like the H500i model, this case comes with a lot of similar structural solutions, with some minor tweaks in detail. First and most important aesthetic detail would definitely be the tempered glass front panel, which has two Air RGB2 fans underneath. So, in addition to standard side transparent sides, the Elite version of the H510i also got a transparent front, with RGB light as the main feature. The glass on this version is slightly tinned, and like the previous model, covers approximately 3/4 of the side and front surfaces, while the rest is made in metal. The front glass panel is easily removable, and to do so, all you need to do is unscrew the two side screws and the panel can be removed to allow access to the front fans. The model we got comes in black color, and the first impression while looking at it is really impressive. The compact dimensions of this class of midi-tower models contribute to that, and we can sum it up as a beautiful visual experience. NZXT didn't want to overuse the glass effect, so the top panel of the case comes in the form of matte black metal surface with a connector and power button in the front, while on the back we have a perforation which expels heat from the interior. This time around, the connector panel comes with fewer options available. On the panel we find one USB-C 3.1, one USB-A 3.0, and 4-pole 3.5mm audio connector for headphones and microphone, and the power button with LED halo, which also is an indicator of disk activity. This minimalistic design seems rather practical, since it contains all the ports an average user needs. After dismantling the transparent sidewall, you will be presented with a proper rectangular center cell with any additional physical obstacles. Behind the front panel, we find a combined mount for the aforementioned AR RGB2 fans, which also serves for mounting 240 or 280mm water cooling radiators. It is worth mentioning that the mount can be completely detached from the case, which makes installing your cooling system way easier. Behind it, we find a traditional NZXT bar, which is more of an aesthetic detail that should cover the power cables. As expected, on the bottom of the case we find a tunnel for the power supply. The upper surface of the tunnel is perforated with openings for an airflow, which is pretty much the same as with other H500 series models, except for one detail, since they decided to remove the SSD trays. NZXT is once again a herald of change, with quite accurate guesses when it comes to industry changes, and suspects that 2.5-inch storage devices could be soon replaced in favor of the M2 standard, which more and more gains in its popularity. On the back of the case, we found a 120mm exhaust fan mount, and we gladly welcome the option for mounting the graphics card on this case vertically. Unfortunately, like its predecessors, the case does not come with a flat cable that connects your graphics card with your motherboard. The case comes with an included single 120mm Air F120 fan in the rear position that blows warm air. The aforementioned two Air RGB 140mm luminous fans come mounted in the front and supply the case with fresh air. The motherboard bracket is packed with useful cable management system, which is especially helpful for connecting internal USB and audio positions. The NZXT H510i Elite is not only aesthetically beautiful, but also smart. This is indicated by the suffix I in the tag, which in the NZXT models indicates that it comes with a Smart Device 2 controller. This is a second-generation smart controller that has a faster microprocessor which provides better controls over lighting and fans. The controller also supports operating 2 channels of compatible Hue, 2 RGB devices, and 3 fans controlled by voltage control or pulse width modulation. It is also worth mentioning that it supports a fully silent mode of 0 decibels. The full control over operations of the case is achieved by NZXT CAM software. The coupling of the software and the smart controller with an integrated noise sensor allows the case to learn the user's work habits, and based on that, creates several work profiles that automatically switch when needed, dynamically adjusting quiet operation or enhanced cooling mode. We also have to mention that the Smart Device 2 controller is compatible with previous first-generation Hue light strips and AR RGB fans. On the back of the motherboard bracket, we find 2 mounting positions for the 2.5-inch SSDs. There, we also notice the standard ducts with Velcro straps for routing cables, as well as plenty of storage space in the power tunnel zone, which also houses a cage to hold two 3.5-inch hard drives, whose position can be moved back and forth or completely dismantled, thus providing even more space for hiding cables. There's plenty of room for mounting the power supply, and the position of the power fan is protected by a fine mesh filter which can be removed and cleaned if needed. The graphics card space varies from 31 cm when the front radiator is installed up to a maximum of 37 cm when not using a water cooling system. The space for installing an air CPU cooler is 16.5 cm. The case is 21 cm wide, almost 43 cm deep, and 43.5 cm high. You could add additional 2.5 cm for the rubber feet at the bottom, which also provide the much needed space in order to supply cool air to the power fan area in front of the case. The weight of the empty case is about 7 kilograms. We personally couldn't resist, so we decided to add RGB Hue 2 accessory in the form of two Air RGB 2 fans, two Hue 2 light strips, and an underglow light effect. You can see the results displayed on our current configuration. The overall impression leads us to believe that this case was definitely designed by someone who loves PCs. Plus, the materials used are almost perfect. The only thing we do mind is the lack of space towards the top edge, which we found very tight, and adding 2 extra centimeters would do the trick. But it would seem that the NZXT designers wanted to preserve the compact form of the MIDI tower case at all costs. The measured results are better than average for this case class, with the GPU temperature going from 34 degrees up to maximum 74 degrees Celsius, while at the same time, the GPU was a bit cooler while reaching a maximum of 63 degrees. The fan system and openings are very practical, as the top fan is able to expel warm air at a rate of 1.4 up to 1.8 meters per second, while the back fan produces a flow of 1.9 meters per second. If you thought the glass panel on the front side was blocking the supply of fresh air, you would be wrong, as the air enters from the bottom through an air tunnel at the speed of 0.7 meters per second. Vertical ventilation holes on the side intake air at a speed of 1 meter per second. During an intense rendering scene, the air temperature inside the central cell is 27 degrees Celsius with an ambient temperature of 21 degrees, which is a great result. The case and the built-in fans are pretty quiet, almost inaudible, because the only noise we noticed come from an AMD Wraith Prism cooler, which emits 51 decibels of noise at full load. When we sum it all up, this is one extremely beautiful and very efficient case with countless ventilation options, good filter coverage, an abundance of RGB Hue 2 options, top performance, and very useful cam software. The premium features come with a slightly higher price tag of 150 euros, but keep in mind that this NZXT H510 Elite is a PC case which is exceptional in every detail. Thank you once again for watching a Bench House review. Don't forget to subscribe for more tech reviews, and also leave us a like and a comment below. See you next time.